Yolanda directly, Rene directly. I have so many stories, we could be up here forever telling them. But what does it mean to, what does it mean to me, to have you here in this time? I think that's what I started with. And I thought about, the vanguard, the old term, the old way of knowing it, of walking ahead and laying the path. And I have to say, I'm from Sacra. I grew up in a working class, with a working class working mother, single grandmother actually, in a very conservative neighborhood. And I didn't really know what was in the world for the longest time. I just imagined it. And I imagined my path as an artist, and I imagined my path, into a greater world. But I didn't really know it was possible. Until I saw, for myself, until you made present all of those images that made me believe not just in the images, but in the woman who made them. And as I was thinking about, this, I realized that the cosmovision, that vision that you have, was learned at the feet of your mama and your grandma. Working mothers, strong, independent, working, very prideful of their independence, very complex women. I hear, Cherie speak, of the characters that she has written based on the madres, on the tias, on the primas, that we observed in our homes. Such a contradiction from what the books were telling us about our, sort of bowed down, oppressed mothers. We didn't grow up with oppressed mothers. We grew up with fantastically strong mothers who carried huge weights. And so I wanted to honor you that way also for making that path possible for all of us to follow. When I was asked to do this, I thought, well, the little bit that I know Yolanda, I know that, that she is a card-carrying member of the working class. That's how she came to me, first of all. I had so many things I wanted to say, but I think that's what really mattered to me. I thought that, I know one story I wanted to tell. I thought it was years that we were driving back and forth. I think we taught a class together at Stanford and Santa Cruz back in the 90s. We were in that little car of Yolanda's, driving between two schools, making huge circles, spending the whole day talking. And the very first day of class, Yolanda did her slideshow. And she presented these images, of her grandparents dressed, in the 1920s, very stylish in New York City. And I was shocked. Because my Mexico was the Mexico of the ranchito. We're traveling between Sacramento of 1950 and Mexico was, losing 100 years. I had no idea that we Mexicanos could be in the world, Louisiana and New York, and, be out there styling, with walking sticks y toda la fur coats y toda la cosa, And I said, those are her parents? Wow. Wow. Just totally woke me up. And that's how I've always known Yolanda, to be present right now in the here and now. No romantic, idealistic visions of traditional mujeres and rebosos, Kind of like the opposite of me, Every time I hear her talk, I'm always shocked. She always says things that are just, I have to go home and think about it. One time she said to me, Celia, Mexican is not an ethnicity. I'd never quite heard it put that way. I had to go home and think about it, Pick up some books, read, Marx, Lenin, where do I find this? How do I handle this? The way I think about her work is that, she took off all that cloth, she told me, and I tell my students all the time, she took that cloth and they say, yeah, but look at the baby, it's all knocked over. And I say, Yolanda says, it's too bad it got in the way. No apology. And, and my students are still shocked. I teach every year. The other day I show her images of, these madres, a madre indígena nursing a baby with the shroud of the Virgen, and their little Catholic eyes, they just don't know where to look. The Virgen in high heels, and to this day, 2013, they're like, what? What does it mean? How could she do that? And I said, well, she took off that, it's like, ¿a dónde vas, chicana? Running. That image of hers is forever strong with those, those strong piernas and the tennis shoes and little short shorts. Y ahí va. I think what it represents is the first generation, us. Like como dijo Cherie once, I think she was in Mexico, and the mujeres were asking her in Mexico, well, who are you, chicanas? And she said something like, we're the daughters and the sons of your servants. That's who we are. We're the ones that, ran away. Our families brought us, so that we could do something different. We came here with the opportunity to open our eyes and remember who we are. We were given, we were remembered, we were brought to this moment so that we could remember who we are. So we can have purpose in this life as human beings. That's how we came here. And it hasn't been an easy walk. People talk about that red road. It's red for a reason, because it's filled with the blood of our children. Andy Lopez recently claimed. And I want to bring him to this moment here, because his life, has gone. Can't bring him back no matter what we do. And it's the dedication that we see every day in the struggle. That's what Yolanda means to me here as she's fighting, for a place to live after she's, this place is land that has spirit, interaction, practice, life, history, our blood. What we eat, what we sleep, how we die, how we rise up again, a relationship in everyday practice. That's what gives this place its meaning. And no matter how the Wachisu sees it, those greedy people that feel that they can occupy and reoccupy, what they miss and what they lose is the spirit of the actions, the dedications, the engagements, the struggles of every day. Yolanda, Rene have raised family. And I'm not talking about the little nuclear family, that they have too. But what they've raised is us, generation of thinkers and poets and people who move things and people who critique and put their bodies on the line between what is right and good and just. That's what they've raised here. I'm grateful to them. I'm grateful to them for leading that path, for lighting that flame, for making it possible for us to come along and find some way to be, something to do, someplace to put our energy. That's how I see it. We're walking along that road like that, looking behind us for those who are coming, looking ahead for those who have passed. And so I'm grateful to you for being here like this to remember with us. But remembering, like consciousness, doesn't mean papa. It means that we have to move. We have to take consciousness and act and put ourselves there on that same line that these folks have been walking for the longest time. Moving along, moving us along. Carrying sometimes, struggling sometimes. That's what I feel every time we come together. So at this moment, I'm taking the opportunity in preaching to say to you, I would ask you in this way, the same way, Yolanda, I was thinking, how do I talk? I know how. I have to talk like I do to my, very good family friends, a family of Iranian Marxists. When we bring them around to our lodge, how do we introduce the concept of prayer? I introduce it like this. I want you all to have a good thought. Today, right now, something that you can carry every day that you remember, every day that you think about your relationship to this place and Yolanda's relationship to you and what it means to you to struggle and to move us forward a little bit, because Lord knows we need to move, then I would say one good thought that you can do, not just think, but do. And hold on to that like a flame. Hold on to it like that and let it and allow it to move us on, because this is what we're here for. Thank you.